All right, this is David Tibbs alongside Mike Ahlstrom. Broadside on the camera. We are Utah High School Sportscast, bringing these games to you live from the Sevier Valley Center in Richfield, Utah. The next game up between the Duchesne Eagles and the West Desert Hawks. These games being brought to you live over the internet on live.ksl.com. And we'll be back here momentarily. Tip off in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds after we hear from some of our great sponsors.
Wearing number 22, a freshman, Vincent Pofferman. Wearing number 23, a senior, Devin Tim. And wearing number 30, a junior, Caleb Baker. The head coach of the Hawks is Scott Anderson. The head teacher of West Desert High School is Scott Anderson. And now let's meet the starting lineup for our designated home team from Duchesne. Wearing number 0, a senior, Carson Reinhardt. Wearing number 1, a junior, Clay Giles. Wearing number 2, a sophomore, Weston Polson. Wearing number 12, a senior, Wyatt Riemann. And wearing number 20, a senior, Cade Jones. The head coach of the Eagles is Billy Hoops. The principal of Duchesne High School is Stan Young. And the officials for today's game, Mike Davis, Larry Larson. Let's play basketball.
All righty, folks, there's your starting lineups. And this should be an interesting game. Not quite sure how these two teams are going to match up. They haven't played. Some great athletes on both teams. This is Utah High School Sportscasts. Mike Ahlstrom alongside Ryan Steinecker. David Tibbs producing. And the tip comes off to the Hawks.
Mike, this is the 1A's 8th best offense in West Desert against 1A's 6th best defense, Duchesne.
Baker starts off with the make. You know, and it's interesting. Last night, the Hawks against the Panguitch Bobcats, the defense of the Bobcats, the Hawks really struggled with that in-your-face aggressive defense. And, you know, John Reel averages 20 points a game. Devin Tim averages 20 points a game for the Hawks. And Baker averages 10 points a game. And just not, you know, the defense is tough.
I think, you know, Duchesne's defense not quite on par with what Panguitch has this year, but Duchesne is a very good, strong defensive team. There's good physicality inside, and it may give West Desert some trouble.
John Reel drives, spins, tied up, gets it back, bounce pass to Reel. Powell Freeman, Reel. Box out on for the shot. Riemann with the rebound. Kicks it back up top. Hesitation. And Duchesne just going to slow it down.
Duchesne lost last night to Merritt Academy 57-49, and it may have surprised a few folks to see that outcome.
Nice. Yeah. Reinhardt with the jumper. we were talking before the game started. Reinhardt is a fun, he's a great athlete, but just fun to watch, the things he can do.
Yeah. Yeah, when Duchesne played at Rich, as he comes up with just a crazy steal, saves it in bounds, West Desert wins it. But when Duchesne played at Rich earlier this year, Reinhardt was coming off screens, hitting shots. He needs so little space to get off. It's just a quick release, and he's very accurate.
No, he's fun to watch. So timeout on the floor. 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. And we've got a great game, 4-2.
Duchesne's had a real good run lately, Mike, and folks that have followed 1A basketball for a while know Stan Young and the Eagles won a state title in 1989. The last 3 years, they've run deep into the state playoffs. In 2012-13, of course, they lost to Bryce Valley in the state championship. Fourth place a couple years ago, a loss to Rich in that third and fourth game. Last year, a down year a bit. They finished 8th place, losing to, I think it was Valley in the final game of the season. But Duchesne's been right up there near the top for a lot of years.
Yeah, they've had a good team year after year.
And the coach's name, there's not a better coach's name for basketball, Billy Hoops.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
exactly. He has to, with a name like that, you have to be a basketball
Look,
coach.
if you're Jeeves, you've got to be a Butler. If your name is Billy Hoops, you've got to coach basketball.
3-point shot by Pal Freeman. Rebound via Rio. Tim pulls up. We had breakfast the other morning. We were sitting there in the hotel, and we got talking to Tim's parents. 3-point shot by Baker. And rebound out of bounds off of Tim, or knocked out of bounds. They were saying they're a wrestling family.
Which one?
Tim.
Okay.
And from...
So Devin's breaking the mold.
He's breaking the mold all of a sudden. I mean, he'd wrestled all through Bandom up to his freshman year of high school. All of a sudden, he grew through the roof, and they're like, that's not the wrestling body. You should play basketball. And he's a great ball player.
Yeah, you saw that crossover dribble down here a minute ago. He pulls down the rebound here, brings it up court.
So, anyway, his dad, they act like they enjoy, obviously supportive and love what he's doing, but as a wrestling family. Baker with the bucket.
Good turnaround by Baker. He got a good, nice, soft touch to get that shot to fall.
Reinhardt in the corner for 3. Rebound Riemann. Reinhardt fakes right, steps left, lays it in.
Carson faked that pass out to the right baseline, and that drew the defender out that way, freed up that lane to the basket.
3-pointer by Baker. Reinhardt with the rebound. They list Carson at 5'10", but nobody's told him he's 5'10".
No, and his jumping abilities gets him up there.
Riemann misses a lot of contact, no call. Tim, he'll take that lane every time on the fast break. If you don't get back, that first night in the play-in game, he'd get the rebound and just push it past the defense every time. And one as Riemann goes through Baker.
That's that killer instinct that a wrestler has to have. Tim brings that onto the basketball court. Wyatt Riemann, meanwhile, with the 2-and-1 opportunity, and he's a guy that played just about every position for the Duchesne Eagles in football. He'd line up at running back, tight end, quarterback at times, and a very good athlete, big, strong, physical guy. Against Rich this year, he had, I think, 5 catches. 3 of those were touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like to remember that, Mike.
Yeah, that's probably not a stat that was good for the Rebels.
It was not. Rebels embarrassed Duchesne a year and a half ago, but Duchesne embarrassed Rich this year.
Yeah.
Hawks with 3 early turnovers, and Eagles up 9-6.
Basketball is one of those sport where you can have a turnover or 2 here and there. You can make a couple mistakes, but football and baseball, you make an error in baseball, it can really cost you. You allow a touchdown. That's a big deal in football.
Right. And you definitely don't want those turnovers to pile up. But, yeah, you're going to expect 10 to 14 a game in a boys' high school ball game.
Villarreal from downtown.
That ties it up at 9.
This is the first time since 2005 that West Desert has been in the state tournament. They've had a couple play-in games in between that time, but never made it to the tournament.
It's a tough thing for them. I don't know how big the school is, but if you look down at their bench, they got 3 guys that can come off the bench. That's 8 players on this team.
And that actually, they combined 2 schools to get those 8 players.
Wow.
So neither school alone can put a team together.
And most other teams, you see, they'll dress some JV and some freshmen, and they fill all those chairs. But if you look down at West Desert's bench, there's a lot more empty chairs than filled chairs.
Yes. Baker. Yeah, it was pretty interesting talking to Tim's parents. Officially, West Desert, the most remote school in America. And some of these players drive 60 miles on dirt road to come to practice.
Wow.
So dedication, hard work. Three-pointer to take the lead by Tim.
Tim's got to be wondering, what was I doing wrestling all those years? The way he's come out and played 5 points already and has his team up by 3.
Shot around.
That's a shot that Lamborn usually hits down inside. He's got good length, good basketball IQ.
Lamborn, that's a basketball name
in Rich County.
In Rich County.
And Cade, unfortunately for Rich, left Rich County a couple years ago to move to Duchesne.
Laid up and in by Riemann.
He's a guy I've watched a couple times play this year, and each time I think, why did you leave? Let's get you back to Rich County. He's a definite great asset, good asset to the Duchesne Eagles basketball program. The school, I understand he's a great kid.
He just has a nose for the ball.
Yeah, he really does. He hustles, and he's just a smart player. And with those long arms, he's got great wingspan, and just good, smart play there. The ball's up high. He reaches up to its highest point, grabs it away.
Clay Giles and Weston Polson in the game for the Eagles.
Giles, first team all hair at the state tournament.
That's got to get heavy when it gets wet.
Yeah, I bet. Women used to have to clean their hair Saturday nights. Giles does that Friday nights.
That's nice take by Polson.
Polson just a sophomore, but you look at him, he's built about like a senior would hope to be built in his final year of high school. He's just a big force here on the basketball court as well as the football field.
So he's built like a running back.
Lane Coyle, who's number 10, you see him on the left wing over there for Duchesne. He was the running back for Duchesne. Paulson was a tight end.
At the buzzer, Lamborn puts it in for 2. 1 of 2 from the field for Lamborn. So this is Utah High School Sportscast, bringing it to you live from the Sevier Valley Center. We'll be back after this. Second quarter action. We've got a great game, 15-12. Yeah. Duchesne has pulled out a 3-point lead, but the Hawks not giving up.
It's an interesting thing. A lot of folks coming into today thought, okay, Tabiona's not going to have too much trouble with Whitehorse. Monticello should beat Tinnick pretty strong, and Duchesne shouldn't have much trouble with West Desert, but so far we've been wrong. Those games have been close, tight, exciting, fun, and this one's shaping up to be that way as well.
You know, a good friend of ours, Gary McKee up there in Rich County, he tells us all the time there's nothing in the world better than 1A basketball. And, I mean, that's how it's been today, just great basketball. As John Reel gets a bucket.
Gary admitted to me just a few minutes before this game started, he said, man, watching today's games makes me realize I know nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said about yesterday. I'm like, don't listen to me project any winners, losers, because I don't know anything.
It only took Gary, 50 years to realize that.
Oh, nice lob into Lamborn. And the high rebound pulled down by Tim. Devin Tim ahead. In the corner, tied up. Jump ball, alternating possession to the Hawks. Heston Elmer tied up in the corner. It's probably not the place you want to pass the ball to when there's 2 or 3 defenders down there by the Eagles.
Yeah, and Duchesne likes to try to force extra turnovers when they get somebody down in the corner.
Powell Freeman. Baker inside. John Reel shot high, touched the top of the backboard and fell in.
Some very good passing by West Desert to exploiting that Duchesne zone that didn't quite rotate fast enough.
And West Desert on top by 1. 16-15. Nice take. Lane Coyle all the way to the rim. See here, Tim will push it up that left side. He likes the left side. Kicks it back out top to Reel.
Coyle is a guy that comes off the bench. Just watch him up top defending. He's all over the court.
Tim for a deep 3. Rebound Coyle.
Eagles on top 17-16. 6 minutes left in the second.
3-point shot on the way by Cade Jones. Rebound, John Reel. Oh, nice give and go to the corner. Tim cuts, rims off.
Yeah, it was a very nice give and go. Tim would like to have that shot again.
Ball loose. That's going to be
Jones would like to have that play again. I think he thought the ball was a little closer than it was. Couldn't grab it.
You ever want to just go, oh, you just feel like you can just reach out and grab that ball. It's like, just grab it.
It's barely moving.
Duchesne in a 1-2-1-1 full court trap. John Reel.
Reel's a big guy.
Yeah. I don't know what they list him at height-wise. I think 6'2", 6'3".
His a senior little brother, Christopher Reel, number 15.
Take pulled out of there by Reinhardt.
They don't have heights listed for West Desert in the program.
Baker with a rebound on the other end. Ooh. High dribble and carry by Baker. 17-16 Eagles.
The officials, I don't know if we saw a couple carries in the Taviona game versus, of course, Whitehorse, and then that carry there is something, again, you don't see a whole lot, but we've seen a few at this tournament.
Riemann. Reinhardt bounce pass inside to Polson.
Nope.
Riemann takes it up and misses. John Reel with the rebound. The travel.
Tim just got tried to force something there. He got in traffic, couldn't control the ball.
And then he got it kind of tied up and couldn't get it up for the shot.
He definitely does have a basketball player's body.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than the wrestler's body.
Lewis shot rims over, put back up and in by Wyatt Riemann.
Riemann with 7 points in the ball game.
Chris Reel. Gets an open lane. He's like, okay, I'll take it if you insist.
The Eagles just left that wide open. Not sure what they were thinking.
Yeah, we'll be back after a message from these sponsors. Duchesne Eagle basketball. After the timeout, passing to Riemann, bounce pass down low, shot up through by Polson. Somehow Polson got that up between the defenders. All back. Villarreal was wide open on this end of the court. And they just didn't see him. John Reel stepped around, rims out, Riemann with the rebound. Polson into the corner to Lewis. Reinhardt drives, splits the defender, so smooth.
Something he does so well is he'll give a fake to one way or the other, either with a pass or with a step, and then that just frees up the way he really wants to go.
Yeah.
It's like a boxer or a fighter giving that fake punch, and then he just nails away with the other hand.
Yeah, almost, and he does, and I've never seen him go the same direction he fakes. So if you're studying game film, pay attention to that. Because don't bite on the fake. Yeah.
He always gives that, well, not always, but so often he does give that fake first. And I guess if you had time to study game film at a state tournament.
Yeah. And he's so fast, you don't have time to think. But
he looks like such a skinny guy. The shorts are a little bit short. He's got the wrap around the knee. He hurt his knee this last week in practice, and there was a little bit of worry that he wouldn't be able to be back for state tournament. He said, "No way, I'm playing."
Yeah. Probably tear his leg off, and he'd still want to play.
Yeah.
You know, those used to be called long shorts that he's got on there, right?
Yeah. Yes, they did. You think about John Stockton, Larry Bird, those shorts would be long and baggy.
I remember 20-plus years ago when I was playing ball, nice take.
Caleb Baker all the way to the hoop, floated it up off the glass.
We got the first long shorts for Bryce Valley, and I saw some video the other day, and I'm like, those weren't long.
Sometimes you get the student section put on the old shorts, and it's just scary.
Yeah, it's like, what in the heck? Bounce pass across the paint. Scary pass out. Too many defenders down low to get that through and out of bounds. Villarreal.
He's just waving his arms over there. I'm wide open.
Tim takes the shot and rims off. Lamborn with the rebound.
Tim's got a great knack for the game of basketball. It's fun to watch him play. He's got good length, good height, good ball handling ability for his size.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, after his parents told me that, I'm like, man, can you imagine if he had been playing basketball since he was in third grade or whatever?
Yeah. Riemann is just about to. He got one of those last night that I think really hurt Duchesne against Merritt Academy, and he puts his hands out like, what did I do? But it's a clear, easy call right there. He slams the ball into the stands.
Yeah, that was the foul that he got last night was his fourth foul, and then the technical was his fifth, took him out of the game at the end of the third period.
Right.
And that was really when Merritt Academy had come swinging back on the 7 or 8 point run, and it really made a big difference in the game.
Yeah, he does a lot offensively for Duchesne, but I think even bigger is just his size, strength, physicality inside. They can't afford to have him on the bench for extended periods of time.
And John Reel makes him pay for that technical. And now it's a 1 point game, and West Desert has the ball with 46 seconds to go in the first half. Tim for three off the back iron. Rebound, Chris Reel. Gets it back to Tim. Jump ball, alternating possession to the Eagles.
It's as good as a turnover there. Carson Reinhardt, quick hands to get in there and wrap it up. 28 seconds left in the quarter.
Reinhardt, pass into Lamborn. Lamborn steps around John Reel, shot off. Reel with the rebound. Lamborn dives in there, takes it away. Reinhardt picks it up top. 3 seconds, deep three, short. That's going to do it for the first half of action. This is Utah High School Sportscasts, bringing it to you live. Second half of basketball here, folks, coming to you live from the Sevier Valley Center. This is Utah High School Sportscasts. Mike Alstrom alongside Ryan Steinecker. David Tebbs producing. We've got a great ball game. 23-22. Eagles lead by 1. Shot off by Devin Tim. Rebound out of bounds. Polson in the corner.
Good balanced scoring for both teams in that first half. Nobody really stood out. Reel and Lewin had 6 points, or Reel and Baker had 6 points apiece for West Desert.
Pass taken away by Reinhardt. Slows down, lays it in easy.
Reinhardt is so quick. You saw how quickly he got in that passing lane, took the ball away, and he was out 10, 15 feet in front of everybody. He got to slow down and just lay that one in nice and easy.
Yeah, and it just looks completely effortless. Ball taken away by Jones. Pass low to Polson. He's tied up. Alternating possession will stay with the Eagles.
That's a good quick heads-up defense by West Desert. They saw Polson down in there. Quick triple team came in. He couldn't do anything but just hold on.
Yeah. Reinhardt into Lamborn.
Lamborn in the starting lineup to start this third quarter. Wyatt Riemann, I don't know if Coach Hoops is saying, hey, well, you got to cool it off. 2 technical yesterday, 1 today. You're on the bench for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, in a close game, West Desert made both those free throws. It's a, and they're kids, and you got to remember that, but it's also a great teaching experience.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what high school sports are for, is to learn and grow. And we have to learn how to keep our composure when things get tough. 3-point shot by Reinhardt, rims off, Reel, ball loose, picked up by Baker.
Absolutely. Deal with frustration. If something doesn't go your way or is out of your control, you can still control how you react.
Yeah. Ball loose, picked up by Jones.
Heads up move by Jones. He dives, gets possession of the ball, and then passes it before defense comes and before any kind of travel.
Villarreal called for the California defense with the reach around.
The California defense, huh?
Just turn and let him go and then swat it out from behind.
He might have some granola for a snack later.
Yeah. Jones, baseline Lamborn. John Reel, somehow he was leaning completely backwards on 1 foot. I thought, oh, for sure he's going to hop or slide or fall down, and he gained composure and got it out. Tim to Baker, tipped away by Polson. Out ahead,
Clay Giles. West Desert has yet to score in this third quarter. A big part of that is I've got him with 4 turnovers here in the third quarter alone. We've played 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's been and those turnovers are leading to fast breaks on the other end.
That's just the 4th free throw of the ball game, Mike.
fairly clean game. The officials letting them play, but I haven't seen a lot of missed contact calls. I mean, contrary to popular belief, basketball is a contact sport.
Right.
But just limiting that a little and trying to maintain some kind of composure. Villarreal, that looked clean by Lamborn.
It did, but he didn't contest it a whole lot. That may be just who he is, or it may be that he did get a piece of the arm. That's his second personal foul. Riemann with 2, Lamborn with 2.
Villarreal off the mark with that free throw. As rare as those free throws are to get in this game, you've got to take advantage of them.
Yeah, and both teams were 2 for 2 before that miss. Villarreal hits the second. Duchesne has outscored West Desert so far 5-1 in the third.
Lamborn jumper in the paint, got it.
Lamborn, just a sophomore early on this year. He wasn't getting a whole lot of playing time, but he's gotten more minutes and more minutes as the season has gone on, proved himself valuable to be in the game.
Reinhardt tried to save that ball and goes out of bounds.
We saw Tabiona get a boost in energy just from the guys on the court by running a full court press, and maybe Duchesne's thinking, hey, let's try to do the same.
Oh, Villarreal, Devin Tim drives in, Polson with the bump. Yeah.
Polson with the foul there.
Chris Reel gets it away to Baker. Baker turns, 12-footer in the paint, no good. Rebound foul going against Baker as Lamborn had the rebound.
That's another one of those where the player shoots. That's a shot. Oh, man, I should have hit that. And just hustling for the rebound, but doing a little too much.
It's his first foul, third team foul. Into the game. Trying to think who just came in for the Eagles. I didn't see.
Was it Coyle? Number 10, Lane Coyle?
Must have been. Reinhardt pulls up baseline jumper. So smooth.
He just stops on a dime, elevates, and shoots. It makes me wonder why he doesn't just do that every time, or drive, or take the three, or take a shot like that last one.
But part of what makes him so fun to watch is he is such a team player. He's not looking to do that all the time. He's a true point guard that, yeah, he could do that a lot more, but tries to make the other team better.
Yeah, absolutely. He involves his teammates and helps them be better as a team.
Tim blocked, gets his own rebound, goes up, won't be denied, rims off, and that's out of bounds off the Eagles.
Reinhardt with the block there. He had a huge monster block last night against Merritt Academy.
Into Baker. Devin Tim. Baker down low to Chris Reel. Kisses it off the glass and in.
Great steal by John Reel there. That's what freed that play up and him at the basket. Good pass from the corner as well.
Bounce pass in, almost taken away. Shot up by Lamborn, tipped out. Reinhardt with the rebound from the foul line. Turns away, pulls it out with one hand and drains it. Tim, ball hits him in the face. He still gets the ball, finds a handle on it somewhere. Misses the shot. Reinhardt.
Tried that one-handed shot again, and this time a bit short. Reinhardt with 12 points in the game.
I have him down as 6 of 7 from the field.
Wow.
From 2-point land. John Reel got it. Cuts the lead to 7, 34-27, 2:30 to go in the third period. Giles, Lewis, back out to Giles. Coyle drives, bounce pass to Lewis. Lewis has a smooth shot as well.
He's another guy that I think early on didn't get quite as much playing time, but he's proved his worth throughout the season.
Lewis, Coyle, Lamborn with the miss. Rebound picked up by Pal Freeman for the Hawks.
Eagles have outscored the Hawks 13-5 in the third so far.
Put back up and in by Tim.
Eagles a little lackadaisical there defensively, just not reacting to where the ball was going.
And Tim has had a lot of looks, and defensively the Eagles have done a great job. I have Tim with only 5 points in the game so far. The Euro step gets called for a travel as Reinhardt steps right and then back left, and that's good all day long in the NBA. They don't call that.
I think the NBA forgot what traveling is, Mike. Just like Steph Curry doesn't worry about where the three-point line actually is. They just, traveling, what's that?
Pal Freeman to Tim. Who? Oh, really? Baker inside to Tim. He says, I'd rather have the shot.
Yeah.
Give me the continuation.
Easy call there for the officials. They've really tightened down this year on the hand check, and
Yeah.
Coyle had 2 hands on Tim's back. Quick, easy call.
They've tightened down on the hand check, but they, like last night, Logan Dalton for the T-Birds against Monticello, they let him chest up against.
Oh yeah,
against
Monticello.
Yeah.
Paiute. Oh, Freeman.
No, Freestone against Matt Freestone.
Yeah, it seems like they have tightened up on the hand checking and loosened up on the hip checking, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
It's a thankless job being an official.
It is. We should thank them right now. Thank you, officials.
Yeah, because you got to have them for the game. The game doesn't work without a good official out there. Reinhardt looks at the three, decides better of it 10 seconds, 8, 36-31, 5-point game. Reinhardt drives, scoops.
Ooh.
Baker with the rebound, shot won't count. So that's going to do it for the third period, 36-31. Duchesne Eagles lead by 5. This is Utah High School Sportscast, and we'll be back after a word from these sponsors. Fourth quarter of action getting ready to start here, coming to you live from the Sevier Valley Center.
2 games in the book so far today. Mike, Tabiona beat Whitehorse, but not by much. A 3-point win. Monticello beat Tinnick by 15, and this one closer than folks might have expected as well. Duchesne up by just 5 as we start the fourth period.
Yeah, some great games today. Coyle with the steal and the breakaway, and Tim's trying to get out of the way and caused a little contact.
Yeah, he mostly got out of the way, but kept that one arm back, and that was the foul. That's just his second foul.
Coyle in the paint over Reel. Rebound to Tim. Tim steps up for an open three. Got it.
I've got Tim with 10 points now. 5 in the first half, 5 so far in the second.
Coyle inside and blocked. And that's a tough call.
Yeah, defense was there. Lewis turned. He made a quick decision to just turn and shoot, not really knowing where the defender would be, and that goes in the favor of the offense.
That's only the second foul on John Reel. And you were saying during that break the lack of free throws in this game. This is only going to be the 4th free throw for the Eagles. They're 4 of 4 in the game, and the Hawks are 3 of 4, so 8 free throws so far in the game.
Both teams shooting very good percentages from the free throw line, but you need to get there a lot more.
Pass ahead. Palfreyman,
yeah.
Palfreyman
throws it away. Eagles come up with it, and they're fouled heading up court.
6th team foul.
Bunch of players with 2 fouls apiece, but again, if you just mentioned, not a lot of fouls in this one. I think nobody with more than 2 fouls for either team. And we continue to see Wyatt Raymond, one of the Duchesne starters. I don't think we saw him in the 3rd quarter. Still haven't seen him here in the 4th.
No. Laid up and in by Chad Lewis. Reel gives to Devin Tim. Tim in the corner to Palfreyman. That ball's tipped away by Coyle.
I love to watch Lane Coyle play. He's not a real polished basketball player, but he hustles. He works so hard. He's a good athlete, and he's always just got a nose for the football. Or for the basketball. He's always about where it is.
It was funny. Did you see him? He kind of disputed. He's like, "Oh, that's our ball," and then the official said something. He's like, "Yeah,
okay,
okay."
Yeah, he gives the smile. Yeah, you're right.
Can't blame a guy for trying. Who made that basket, Dave? Polson, Coyle. Drive in by Jones, loses the handle, knocked out of bounds by the Hawks. 36-40, 4-point game. It's still anybody's ball game.
This has been a bit more of a defensive battle than I expected. Not quite like last night's Paiute win over Monticello in overtime, 31-29, but a low-scoring defensive game today.
Polson at Baker. We just watched that replay real quick. Baker shot that ball, missed it, got his own rebound and put it in. Villarreal steps back for 3. That's going to be short. Tim doesn't give up on it, just out of bounds.
Yeah, great hustle by Tim. It's never giving up on that ball. It's a guy you'd love to have on your team, coaching that kind of kid.
Absolutely. In the play-in game, he blocked a shot and then saved the shot in bounds. The ball hit in bounds. He comes in and grabs it.
Wow.
I'm like, there's like 3 players in one on that play. Lamborn down low, kicks it out to the corner to Jones. On the line, great hustle by Tim.
I'm just impressed with Tim, having not played a whole lot of basketball in his life, but he's a very good ball player.
Yeah, really is. Taken away, that's Coyle. Tim causes the miss, and then it's put back up and in by Jones.
I have that as the 9th turnover, make it 10th turnover of the second half for West Desert.
Coyle, baseline shot, good. And timeout on the floor, West Desert. This is Utah High School Sportscast, bringing these games to you live. We'll be back. So you never know who's listening out there.
That's right. You got to be nice.
We're kind of complimenting the officials, saying, you know, they're trying. It's a thankless job, and we appreciate them. And one of our good friends shoots us a text and says, well, thanks for the compliment. You're right. We're just trying to do our best. So
he's a good official in his own right. Won official of the year just a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great official.
Lamborn with his third foul. Eagles had a narrow 2-point lead early on in the second quarter after Tim hit a three-pointer, but they've gone on a 10-0 run. They're up by 10, looking good.
Yeah, you know, it just dawned on me as you're saying that. I'm like, wow, that's out to a 10-point lead, because it was 2 or 4, and you know, they've just gradually extended that lead.
Yeah, it was 36-34, and I said 10-0. It was an 8-0 run, and they're up by 10.
Yeah.
A big part of that has been forcing turnovers. They just about got one there, but it's going to be a foul. But I've got West Desert with 5 turnovers, and at least 3 or 4 of those are steals for the Eagles.
And, you know, you wonder if part of that is Chris Reel has played a little, and Heston Elmer a little for the Hawks. But at this point in the game, if fatigue comes into play just a hair, the passes just aren't as crisp, the pressure by the Eagles.
Yeah, that's certainly something you talk about a lot in basketball, wearing the defensive line or the offensive line down. And once you get to those third and fourth quarters, that conditioning, that physical strength really plays a part in it. You don't talk about that as much in basketball, but you've got to be right. They don't have a lot on that bench. They aren't able to sub in as much. So these guys have played. Well, we got 3 minutes left. They've played 28 minutes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whereas Coach Hoops really subs in and out quite a bit with Duchesne. Those guys are a lot more fresh.
Yeah, and you know, he hasn't gone real deep on his bench, but he's used those 3 that are on the bench right now a lot.
Yeah.
So, and both these teams, you know, it's 3 games in a row. So I think you see that in the state tournament. It starts to come in as we get further and further. You start to see shots being short. Devin Tim's shots have been a little short, and it's just like, I wonder if fatigue's out. And you know, I'm not trying to give him an excuse either,
no.
But
I'm sure he wouldn't use that as an excuse for himself and his team. But there certainly is a part that plays a part in the game.
Reinhardt with a 3. That's 15 points for Reinhardt in the game.
You talk about things like, you know, legs getting tired, a 4-day tournament, and games like what Diamond Ranch did to Pinnacle, what Rich did against Tinnick, Panguitch versus West Desert, where you can rest those starters in the third and fourth quarters. That's got to help them down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're still alive come Friday, Saturday games.
It's kind of interesting. You know, David and I talked about that a little bit yesterday. You'll see some of these coaches that really think about that. You can tell that's like, hey, I've got a chance to rest some of my starters, and they'll rest them. And then there's been a couple of games that starters were left in to run the score up, and it's like,
right.
Man, are you not looking at the big picture here? Or, you know, what's more important, this 40-point win today or a 5-point win when games get tough?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is the other side of that, is some of those teams came in without a play-in game. They, you know, it's first time on the floor, so there is an advantage for extra time on the floor, but see how it all shakes out.
Those free throws, the first points in about 5 minutes of game time for West Desert. The Eagles had been on a 13-0 run.
Tim on the fast break, and the Eagles just do not cut him any slack, and ball taken away, outlet pass to Reinhardt. Reinhardt steps in front and takes it away, out of bounds. You give me a team of 5 Reinhardts, I'd take them.
Yeah, you don't need the size, the height. If you've got 5 guys that can play like he does, with that quickness,
Quick, and just the effort.
ability to elevate, the shot, the everything. Yeah.
Pass through Tim's hands. Reinhardt picks it up, bounce past the coil, back to Reinhardt. Little jumper, rims out. Pulled down by Tim. And the foul's going to be on Coyle, I believe.
Yeah, he was the only one right there in the vicinity. That'd be Coyle's 3rd. But at this point, with 1:47 left in the game, not too big of a concern as long as Duchesne doesn't just give this one away. Those fouls have creeped up a little bit to Duchesne now with 8 team fouls. And we have yet to see Wyatt Riemann in this second half. Again, he picked up a technical foul. Was that in the second quarter?
Yeah, the end of the second quarter.
He had a technical foul that may have cost or been a part of why Duchesne lost last night against Merritt Academy, and then a technical foul today. I think Coach Hoops is saying, Wyatt, that's enough, man. We got to settle down. Good teaching moment. Tim hit the first. I've got Devin Tim, team high 11 points. Nope, that's not team high. John Reel, 14.
That's the main 2 players on the team for West Desert. And both of them are seniors. And I feel like it's been a real treat to watch them play basketball the last 3 days. They've worked hard. I think the state tournament hasn't gone just the way they'd like it to, I'm sure, for them, but they've worked hard, and they should be proud of the effort they've put on the floor.
Absolutely. That first-round matchup, very tough, with maybe the eventual state champion Panguitch Bobcats. And then today, Duchesne, make no mistake, they're a very good team as well.
The other senior on the team for the Hawks is Ricky Villarreal, a senior. And so all 3 of those seniors. That's going to be timeout by Scott Anderson, head coach. We'll keep it right here. So, this is the day I don't like the state tournament, because you start seeing these teams go home after 2 losses, and it's like, man, but that's what it's. I mean, you're whittling it down to find a champion, and that's how it has to be.
And you talk about whittling it down to find the champion, Mike. It's an interesting field this year. Last year there were a couple of teams. I think Rich was the favorite, though, and they got it done. In past years there have been others, but this year I think it's wide open for 5, 6, maybe 7 teams that are still alive. Diamond Ranch is playing so well. I think Rich has a shot if they can beat Paiute. Paiute might have a shot. Panguitch is very good. So it's kind of a wide open field.
Parowan's come on as of late. They had a tough season in Region 20. They were 7th place going into the region tournament. They come out in 3rd with an amazing region tournament, and they've played really well in the state tournament so far. So it's really, and St. Joe had a great game yesterday against Bryce Valley.
Yeah.
If Diamondbacks weaken at all, St. Joe could topple them today. I don't expect that, but it could happen. St. Joe played really well against the Mustangs.
Yeah, they did, and they're a very good team. They've got a lot of scoring ability. Nick Grue is just an unbelievable scorer who wants to play at the next level. And then don't forget Wayne, Mike. They've got a lot of length. They're missing Brendan Robbins, but they're a very good team as well. Coach Hinkle does a great job.
So the next game for the day will be the Bryce Valley Mustangs and the Intermountain Christian Hawks.
The Eagles, isn't it?
Eagles.
I may be leading you astray.
Look at that.
Reinhardt just hit 2 free throws, and both these teams are very good from the free throw line in the ballgame. We haven't seen a whole lot of the attempts from there, but they've both made most of their attempts.
Or do they play Penny?
The Lions, Intermountain Christian Lions. We were
Lions,
both wrong.
Yeah, we were both wrong.
We were going for those flying animals, the predators. There was a land predator.
And here's where I'm really wrong. Bryce Valley plays Pinnacle, not even ICS.
So you threw us off to begin with.
Oh, it's a train wreck up here.
Duchesne has had a great 4th quarter. Defensively, offensively, they've been good. And that 13-0 run, it was 36-34. Duchesne scored 13 straight to make it 49-36. That stretch right there is essentially the win for the Eagles.
So Coach Hoops has got Brody Barneson, Corbin Young, Jared Mortensen. 23. 30 is Brandon Johnson.
Braden.
Oh, yeah, that's an A. And 24 is Russell Spencer in the game.
Some younger guys getting some varsity minutes at state tournament. That's something they can look back on maybe next year when they're the ones on the floor most of the game.
Absolutely. And the Hawks, they're 3 seniors on the bench over there. They've seen the last of their high school career. So on the floor, that brings into the game Chris Rio. Number 22, Pal Freeman has been playing. Heston Elmer, number 13. And number 43, Kirk Lewis for the Hawks. 22 seconds to go in the ball game.
Hawks plagued by turnovers here in the fourth. Right there was their 8th.
Valiant effort, hard-working, hard-fought battle. I really felt like until the fourth quarter, the Hawks really had a chance.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And even at the start of the fourth, Tim hit a 3. It brought West Desert within 2, 36-34. But they got stopped defensively. Duchesne's defense stepped it up, and the Eagles earned the win. Great game, though. That was fun.
That was a fun game. So, hey, folks, hang around. We'll be right back with the Ruby's Inn postgame report and highlights. This is Utah High School Sportscast. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Ruby's Inn postgame report and highlights, brought to you by Ruby's Inn, hosting visitors to southern Utah since 1916. 100-year tradition of service at Ruby's Inn. So that was a great game, folks. Duchesne Eagles pull off the victory, 55-40 over the West Desert Hawks. Real story of the game, Ryan. Really in the second half, the defense of the Eagles stepping up and causing turnovers. 19 turnovers unofficially, that's going to be close, but 13 of those in the second half.
Yeah, and this was a 1-point Duchesne lead at halftime, 23-22. The Eagles turned it on in the second half, and even despite that, West Desert was still right there in it early in the fourth quarter, but Duchesne went on a 13-0 run. A big part of that was Carson Reinhardt. He finished with 19 points in the game, only player in double figures for Duchesne. For the West Desert Hawks, John Reel had 14, Devin Tim had 12, and I got to be honest, Mike, I'm sad to see Tim's high school basketball career come to an end. I wish he was there more. He was a fun player to watch.
Fun player to watch. Great teams. That's what's fun about 1A basketball. You get players that, the teams aren't amazingly good, but fun to see them grow and develop. So that's going to do it for this broadcast. The next game set to come your way, the Pinnacle Panthers